The declining balance method of depreciation.
This one's the
Oops.
hardest.
The declining balance method of, why is this not going? The declining balance method of depreciation is what we call an accelerated depreciation approach. In an accelerated depreciation approach, we take relatively more depreciation at the beginning of an asset's useful life and smaller amounts in the later years. The reason that we do that is because it assumes that our plant assets are better, more functional, more efficient when they're new.
Larger. Just larger amounts.
The accelerated declining balance approach applies a fixed rate to the carrying values of the assets and therefore takes a higher depreciation charge in early years of an asset's life. Good?
Yeah.
Most businesses use what we call a double declining balance approach. And what they do is they take the annual depreciation rate, whatever it is, and that's going to equal a percent of the asset's useful life. So if we decide that using the straight line approach, an asset's useful life would be 5 years. So we're going to depreciate it fully over 5 years. If we were taking the declining balance approach, we're going to double that. If we're taking the double declining balance approach, we would double that. In each year, we're going to apply that double percentage. Okay. So if we were to take the first year or the annual depreciation, if it was 5 years, we would depreciate at 20% a year. But if we're going to take the double declining balance, we're going to do twice the straight line for the depreciation, so our rate is going to be 40%. So therefore, we're going to depreciate the greatest amount in the initial year that an asset is depreciated. So look at the schedule now. The schedule looks a little bit different. Double declining balance, if we had that same example that I said, 20% is the annual rate, then double would be 40%. And then that rate is applied directly to the carrying value at the end of each period. So it's going to be the carrying value times that factor. In this case, it's 40%. So the date of purchase, at the date of purchase, we see that the asset was $20,000. So at the end of the first year, we're going to take that $20,000, we're going to multiply it by the 40%. Our depreciation for that year is $8,000. Our carrying value is $12,000. At the beginning of next year, we're now applying that 40% to the carrying value. Okay, so we're going to take the carrying value, bring it down over here, multiply it by the 40% to get our depreciation. Accumulated depreciation now $4,800. Okay, $7,200 now we're going to apply to the 40%. Brings it down. Our depreciation for that year is $2,800. Now you see how each year my depreciation amount, the amount that I'm depreciating, is going down. Okay? And then when we get down to the end, you'll notice in the last year, okay, the end of the 5th year, if we were to say that this had any type of residual value, we can't see the amount of the depreciation. Somebody do the math for me.
Bob,
what's 2592 times the 40%?
Hold on. How many percent?
What's 2592 times the 40%?
1,037.
Right, 1,037.
Yeah.
1,037. What's divide that in
Make
half?
sure you're rolling.
Divide that in half.
Divide that by half.
Uh huh.
I'm gonna say 518.
What?
5.
No, but, well, it's 518.4, but.
That's impossible. It can't be .4.
How is it
That's literally impossible.
518.
Well, because originally, because it's what, it's
It's
1030,
518.5.
1036.8.
What do we do
Well, I
wrong? Should
thought
we
we
get
were rounding
592?
these days.
So
Yeah.
that's on one, no.
Something's wrong with that problem here, wait.
Yeah. That's liberal math right there.
I don't think you're the one to look at that.
Government,
So, let me just say, so I don't think I read in the problem. So what they're saying here is that the carrying value of this asset is $2,000. So the book value is $2,000. So in this last year, you can only take in the depreciation amount, the amount that'll bring it down to the residual value. You can't depreciate any more than the residual value in the last year, okay? So in this case, they're saying that the residual value is $2,000. So the most that you can depreciate in that last year is the 592,
Yeah.
okay? Even if when you do this calculation, it comes out to be more. The most that you can take in the last year is the amount that's going to bring you to the residual value. So looking at number SE8, I'm going to just show you the answer instead of doing it with you and writing it out. So you'll do the calculation. Okay. Again, we're using the same numbers here. 8,250. We depreciated it 100% over 4 years. So that's 25% each year. So therefore, if we're using the double declining balance, when we're doing double declining balance, we're going to depreciate it 50% and apply it to the carrying value. So we're taking the 8,250 times the 50%. In the first year, our depreciation expense is $4,125. In the second year, we're again taking the 8,250 minus the 4,125 to get our carrying value, and we're applying the carrying value times the 50%.
Nice. I think that one's easier than the other one.
Well,
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
sorry about that.
Straight line method.
So,
Oh,
yeah, straight line's easiest, right?
Yeah.
So the next year, again, year 3, we're going to take whatever the carrying value is minus the depreciation from the previous year and apply the 50% to it to get the depreciation expense for that year. And in the last year, the most that we can depreciate is the amount that's going to bring us down to the residual value of that asset in year 4. Okay? So you guys, for homework,
No, E10.
you have E10. And E10 is going to be each one of these approaches. Yes.
When you finish the notes on Wednesday, could you put those on mine?